Midnight Pottage. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a podcast every day this week. They're going to be quick snacks of podcasts, 30 minutes, tell you about what happened the night before, get you primed and ready to go for the day of baseball to come, because that's what you do for the ALCS and the NLCS. Jack McMullen with Peter Apple. This is the Just Baseball Show on Tuesday, October 19th. And we are recording about midway through this Red Sox drubbing of the Houston Astros. What did we just watch for the first 4 innings of baseball?
Well, we were going to plan a post pod, but the Red Sox all out blitzed the Houston Astros, and we're watching the Monday Night Football simultaneously, and Kyle Schwaber with the 430-foot moon tank to right field left the bat at a cool 114 miles an hour, immediately 6-0 in the second. I actually started tweeting out before. I say, Eduardo Rodriguez versus Jose Urquidy. It's going to be a pitcher's duel. Of course, it's playoff baseball, making that joke because I took the over. And then I tweeted out, I should have just waited until the end of the second inning because the Red Sox immediately jumped on Urquidy. And now it's 9-3 in the 5th inning. This game's not over, but it's kind of over.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Kyle Tucker hitting a 3-run bomb. Kyle Tucker's a freak of nature to cut it to a 6-run deficit.
Aram tweeted out, he said, be ready for Kyle Tucker being a top 10 player soon.
Yeah.
And I said, touche, because and then you texted me, Kyle Tucker's a freak. And then I just said, 6-hitter, decent, because he's literally hitting 6th in this lineup. That's how crazy it is.
Yuli Gurriel's hitting 7th because he's like the batting champ is on the bit of a downswing right now. He's going through a cold stretch, so he's hitting 7th. This Astros lineup is stacked, but this Red Sox lineup has this sprinkle of magic that they've got going on here. We were talking about it when it was us 3 on the podcast last week, and my reasoning for Red Sox in 6 was you just cannot replicate this magic that they're bringing to the field every single night. And Kike Hernandez having 2 hits within the first 4 innings. Like, these guys are just showing up when they need to. And we've seen it, in the NBA, the best team almost always wins the NBA finals. In the NFL, you occasionally get, this sleeper Super Bowl that actually wins it. But for the most part, the best team wins the Super Bowl that year. Mm-hmm. In baseball, I think it's a little bit more conducive to magic taking hold of an entire month and letting you ride. We saw it with the Kansas City Royals. We saw it with the New York Mets when they came up a little bit short. And we're seeing it now with the 2021 Boston Red Sox.
Kind of reminds me of the 2019 Nats.
Yeah.
Just different, obviously, because the Nationals had that incredible array of starting pitching. But it's almost like you just reverse it and make it the 2021 Red Sox, except offensively. This offense, you talk about Kike Hernandez hitting almost 700 for the series. I forget who said the quote, but the quote itself is important enough to say that the Astros should start treating Kike Hernandez like the best player on the planet right now, because he's simply playing like that, dude.
Yeah.
And not only is he doing so much at the plate, but even just he caught a lazy fly ball in center and then fired it back into first base to almost nab the out. I don't know if you remember that in the 4th inning.
Yeah.
Just like that added energy means so much to a team. Like, you see a guy falling down to throw to first base in order to get the out for your team. Just the Red Sox, you're right. The magic, the moment it feels, especially in Fenway, where that place is rocking.
Right.
Just feels like the Astros have ran into a train, but simultaneously, the Astros offense is pretty good. The series ain't over yet.
No, series ain't over yet. It'll be 2-1 Red Sox. And with magic in the postseason, every team that gets into the postseason is good at something. Mm-hmm. The Red Sox, they were fine. They overperformed the expectations for their pitching staff, especially with Chris Sale out for the overwhelming majority of the year. But that offense, we knew, had the capability of being exceptional.
Absolutely.
And they became exceptional. they are outperforming the exceptional standard they set for themselves in order to become a playoff team. So you had to have a really good offense to get into the postseason with an average to slightly above average pitching staff. They got there. Now they turned it up from really good to unbelievably, amazingly, superbly great. This is the best offensive performance we've seen in the playoffs in quite some time. And John Smoltz said that. He said, we are on pace to see this all-time offensive performance from the Red Sox as a team. And Kike Hernandez in 2021, in the month of October, is on pace to go down in history books. Like, oh, do you remember how Kike got hot in 2021? Same deal as Arozarena in 2020. Same deal as Daniel Murphy back in 2015. Same deal as Reggie Jackson all the way back then, right? What Kike Hernandez is doing is he is the catalyst for this really talented offense to burst through the ceiling and grab the playoffs by the balls. And it's really impressive.
And to that, it was such a good point right there. And I just want to piggyback on that and just keep talking about some of the unsung heroes in this series. I mean, you speak about Kike, he's hitting 667 currently with a 1,500 slugging.
Dude, his OPS is right at 2,000 pretty much.
I mean, come on now. But not only just him, guys like Christian Arroyo is hitting 300 in this series.
With the bomb.
And we always talk about the JD Martinez's, who's pulling his weight. He's hitting 300, the Rafi Devers, but he's hitting 250. Xander Bogaerts hitting 273. But how about Alex Verdugo hitting 444? Christian Arroyo, I mentioned him, even a Christian Vasquez hitting 286. There's no point in this lineup where you can relax. And I think maybe me included, when I was looking at the Red Sox offense, I saw, okay, we can relax when we get to the bottom of the order. Not right now, not with this team. And when you can't relax 1 through 9 in Fenway, you're going to get blitzed. And that's exactly what happened.
The Red Sox have 6 guys with an OPS over 940 so far in the postseason. You've got 2 over 1,000. Kike coming into this past night, this game 3 win, was hitting 514 with an OPS just under 1,600. JD Martinez, 2 fewer games, but he's got an OPS right under 1,200.
And you're talking about the entire postseason. I was just talking about this series, just so no one gets confused.
Yeah. I'm talking about the entire postseason wild card, ALDS with the win over Tampa, and then now through the first 3 games against Houston. You've got Alex Verdugo at 991 with the OPS. Xander Bogaerts, who's sneakily got a 417 OBP this postseason and has a 965 OPS. Kyle Schwaber, 955. With the bomb, you can add that. And then Rafi Devers, 941 OPS. Like, all these guys are performing really, really well. And Devers is coming up with the timely hits and the timely extra base hits. We knew he could do that. Xander Bogaerts, we knew he could do that. Were we thinking Kyle Schwarber was going to hit a 430-foot grand slam to break the game open? Maybe, not really.
Why, when Kyle Schwarber hits home runs in big moments, it feels bigger? Why?
So when it
was still, but why?
Right. So do you remember his home run? I want to say it was the wild card game in Chicago. It could have been an NLDS game, but do you remember when he parked a ball on the Budweiser sign out in right?
Who could forget? That was kind of where I'm going with this.
Yeah. So the way that he was viewed in Chicago coming through the system, a lot of people called him Babe effing Ruth during his first couple of years in Chicago. And you're shrugging yes, he kind of looks like that. And you see that swing, you see the short, stocky, left-handed badass MF that's hitting a ball 115 miles an hour and pelting somebody that is off of Duncan and Sam Adams. Schwarber looks like Babe effing Ruth right now.
Do you think Boston fans are just dumping their Sam Adams in their Dunkin' cup with their iced coffee and just yelling at people?
Dude, Dunkies and Oktoberfest. That's what's running through these people's veins right now.
Oh, I mean, winning is running through these people's veins. Can you imagine being in Fenway, a Boston fan? Altuve makes an error. Jose Altuve. Two. And then they go on to go up 6-0. And Colby Olson, resident analytics guy, Red Sox fan, he's having the time of his life right now.
Yeah.
Just hearing the F Altuve chants run wild. I mean, talk about being an Astros player and playing in Fenway. Talk about how much of a beast you must feel like as a player on the Red Sox right now. You feel like the world's behind you.
Dude, we were talking about the Red Sox fan base and how it feels like, you know, the other 29 fan bases in Major League Baseball. If your team does something well, it's hooray. Let's congratulate ourselves.
Yeah.
If the Red Sox do something well, it's fuck you, enemy.
Fuck you. Yeah. Like, you are the one who sucks. Like, we all just watched the same game. Like, why are you getting mad at me? No. Fuck you. You. Like, why?
Dude, before we move on to the NLCS, I just brought up Dunkies, which is the lifeblood that fuels the dream of the Boston Red Sox, as magical as it is. You and I both,
we're both holding the coffee cups. Like,
right. We're holding.
Oh, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can tell it's late because Jack looks like he's sitting in a dark layer, and I have this well-lit room, you know?
Yeah, I got to figure out the lighting. I got to get a ring light. I know you have a ring light. I got to get one of those too. I'm like sitting up against a wall. I gotta fix that.
Your voice makes up for it. You sound great.
Thanks, man. You and I both view coffee as this very large aspect of our lives.
No doubt.
Dunkin' iced coffee kind of sucks.
Well, it's so, first of all, why is there so much ice in it? They fill these enormous 7-Eleven cups to the brim with ice. Then they put this coffee that was basically just mixed with water in a Keurig, and then they put it in your cup and they're like, here's $4.50, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And I just don't go to Dunkin', really. And it's not an anti-Boston thing. Maybe it is low-key an anti-Boston thing in my head that I'm not realizing. I don't like the iced coffee at all. It's dull. It's got no flavor. It's other variations of dull.
Yeah, I'm Team Starbies here. But you know what? Give the Red Sox credit. Their offense is amazing, and it looks like they're trending well. So I'm excited to see what happens tonight in Game 4.
And give Erod some credit.
Seriously.
I mean, we made the joke. He did give up the 3-run home run, so his stat line is not going to look as good. But struck out the side against the Astros in that second inning. And this is the best offense against left-handed pitching. And he has been bad at home this year. So it's probably a big confidence boost to get through those first couple innings. He did end up giving up the home run. It was a middle pitch, his one mistake of the night. But if I'm coming away from this, I'm not looking at that Erod stat sheet and saying, oh, a classic, another Erod start. He actually did look great and made one mistake.
Right. Erod, I mean, tell you what, man, 96 in the first inning. That's a different Erod.
That's a different Erod. And John Smoltz was actually saying something very interesting. He was like, when Erod is most effective, he is not throwing his changeup as hard. The difference between his fastball and his changeup, you want his changeup in like the high 80s, but when he's throwing at 90, 91, there's not enough differentiator between the fastball and the changeup, so it's much easier to hit. And John Smoltz was saying, hey, Erod, your changeup's 90, 91, but it was moving a ton. And then we saw what had happened. So that's the thing to look for when you're watching Erod start. What's the difference between the fastball and the changeup velocity, and how much is that changeup breaking off?
Right. You know, not many starters can rely on a fastball and a curveball as two pitches, or a fastball and a slider. That is a reliever's bread and butter, where they have hard and harder. They have two pitches. Mm-hmm. The way that starters survive with two pitches, and we've seen it, is fastball changeup.
Yeah.
You remember Marco Estrada?
Of course. Who could?
Marco Estrada carved out a 12-year or something major league career just by going 88 mile an hour fastball, 82 mile an hour changeup.
Yep.
And he had exceptional command of both. You can get through 6 innings every 5th day with fastball changeup because they look really similar until they're not similar anymore. And that's what Erod can be on his best day.
And Ian Anderson has been doing kind of something similar.
Exactly. Ian Anderson, when he's got that changeup working and when he does have his fastball command, it's perfect. He struggled with command early, and that's why the Dodgers tagged him for 2 in game 2 of that NLCS, but he bounced back and he finished off a great game 2 start. Before we get in to Braves Dodgers, want to shout out the Just Baseball shirt that Pillbox Batco put out for the postseason. It's good, man. It's a good looking shirt. It hugs your arms. I know you work like hell on your arms. Maybe a little bit less on core, but
core is it's hard. And
it sucks.
I like working on my arms, my shoulders, having it legs, and it's a lie. I've hit legs in the past couple of years. I was gonna say since high school, but does going on walks count as
yes.
Yeah. Then I hit legs every day.
Good.
But to talk about the shirt, it really does fit well and it's nice material. It's not like one of those shirts that you're going to get and it's like kind of wide cut and it looks like you got it thrown from half court at a basketball game. No, this is like actually a nice shirt. And funny story, my roommate, he went out in the city. He wore it Friday night, Saturday night, and then wore it for Sunday football. And he's like, this is just the most comfortable, like looking shirt I've ever had. He's just like, it fits me really well. And I'm like, yeah, keep wearing it. It's good for the brand.
Perfect. Pick it up.
Like, I don't even care if it's the brand. It's just like the shirt itself is so nice.
Yes, exactly. It's our partnership with Pillbox Batco, who puts out some unbelievable artwork, great bat designs. You can check it out. We've got a link in pretty much all of our social media bios. It's also going to be in the podcast description. The Just Baseball shirt in partnership with Pillbox Batco, a special for the postseason. Good price too. Great shirt. Go buy something.
Holiday season.
Man, you shipping me one?
You already got one. Do you not have one yet?
I don't have one yet. You shipping me one?
Yeah, I'll ship you one. It's a nice shirt, I'm telling you. But let's talk Braves, Dodgers. And I have something to say.
Okay, you go and then I'll go.
I think I'm in on the Braves.
Yeah, I hear you.
I posted a TikTok. I was just thinking, taking a walk, and what's on my mind at 6 p.m. on a Monday?
The Braves.
Braves, Dodgers.
Yeah.
I walk by and I see these two guys walking with Braves hats. And I'm like, you know what? The Braves need someone in their bucket. None of the national media is giving the Braves any sort of a chance. And I looked into the series. Why can't the Braves win? Do you want to face Charlie Morton in game 3? I know Walker Buehler's on the mound, but what's to say that they can't win that game? Max Fried, the Dodgers can't hit lefties. Ian Anderson has proved that in another start, if he's in the postseason, he could shove too. And we're all worried about the bullpen, right? Bullpen's been the big problem with the Braves. It's not the offense, it's not the starting pitch, it's the bullpen. They have a 1.52 ERA in the playoffs this year as a bullpen. And do we even have to mention the offense? But something to mention about the offense, even though it's been scoring off the likes of Max Scherzer, Julio Urias, that Freddie Freeman hasn't gotten a hit in this series, Jack. He hasn't even gotten going. Why can't the Braves win this series? Tell me why.
I can't give you a legitimate answer. That's why I think they're going to win this series.
Is it going to be Braves Sox?
I think it probably could be. Here's what I love about the Atlanta Braves right now. Jock Peterson walking back to the dugout and saying, I'm a bad motherfucker.
Like, they have their version of Kike Hernandez.
He's so fun.
He's so fun. And it's just like, there's something else.
You know what I love about this?
What?
It's Jock doing it against the Dodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to love that shit.
The team that didn't see him in the mix for any of these spots. He looks at AJ Pollock out there and says, fuck you. That should be my job. Right?
Yeah. No, I laughed because it's like probably, we have no idea, of course. And we're not saying he said this, but I mean, you're a guy.
That's what I would be thinking.
That's what I'd be thinking too.
I hit 40 bombs for you. What did you do to put the Dodgers over the edge? You play good defense and you run the bases well and you occasionally get 25 homers in a season. Like, you're consistent. Okay, I'm Jock Peterson. I'm going to prove that I will kill you. And he's doing it.
He's doing it. He's literally killing them.
Here's the thing.
No. It's just funny how you said that, because your voice is so strong, dude. When you say killing you, it sounds very dramatic.
But that's
whether
how
you like it or not.
Think. You've been in that system. You've talked to these guys. You've talked to elite athletes. I've talked to elite athletes. And and even if you haven't talked to them, if you just watch them and you see Patrick Mahomes count to 10 after he threw his 4th touchdown, these guys create their own motivation. They have to look for that. They can't necessarily throw a chip on their shoulder without doing something irrational.
That's really
Jock
smart.
Peterson's making $7 million a year. Yeah. He's going to find motivation somewhere. And if it's looking at the guy that made him an expendable piece for the Dodgers and saying, I'm better than you, I'm going to prove it to the team that viewed me as, an asset and not a necessity to win, I'm going to kill them.
That's so smart, actually.
Right?
I never really thought about that. Obviously, it came into my mind about the Dodgers Braves thing about Jock. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we've talked to these athletes. They'll invent the chip for themselves.
Yeah.
Just like you said. You're so right.
Dude, that's how human beings function, right? You look for something to push you through the day. And if this is pushing Jock through, and if he wants to unload on a ball and hit it 120 mile an hour, piss missile out of Truist Park, like, do it. And he did it.
I have another thing about the Dodgers, why I'm also slightly worried about them. They look exhausted.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer came in the 5th inning. He was throwing 92 miles an hour, Jack. That's not a power pitcher. That's what Jose Urquidy was throwing tonight. Julio Urias, 3 hits, 2 earned in an inning. He didn't have his best stuff either. They're almost throwing through okay, we have to separate our starters. They're just throwing the bucket at the Braves right now. And I don't really think it's working. And you're going to tell me that Dave Roberts is a bad manager. I'm going to tell you that I don't think Dave Roberts is managing the bullpen. I think it's a script. I think it's all a script. I think the only manager that's actually making bullpen decisions is Alex Cora.
Okay.
Maybe I'm
fair.
wrong.
I think Dave Roberts is over managing the bullpen. I think that he's
I don't even
trying
think
to be
it's his choice.
I think it's his choice. Why don't you think it's his choice?
Because it doesn't seem like the same decisions are being made. And I read, I got an article sent to me in the Los Angeles Times, and it was about that. It was about the fact that the Dodgers front office is getting too cute with all this stuff. Because that these front offices are giving their managers a script.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Why is Mike Schilt taking calls from the Padres right now? Probably because he didn't follow or didn't want to follow the script that the Cardinals were probably giving him. And he's probably saying, I'm going to make some of my own decisions. And they were like, no. And that's probably why he's looking for another job. And that's not anything wrong with Mike Schilt. It's just a difference of what the front office wants to do versus what the manager wants to do.
I can't wait to play this game. Was it Mike Schilt or John Mozeliak that wanted to put Alex Reyes in the wild card game?
That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't. And it's funny because after when Kevin Cash took out Blake Snell, everyone was saying, that the Rays front office did it. But then they rushed to the side of Kevin Cash and was like, Kevin Cash was managing this. Like, it's Kevin Cash. He's the manager.
I don't know. It's interesting. I think that Dave Roberts is trying to be too cute. I love your point that they look exhausted. It feels like the Braves have every weapon available out of the bullpen and in the rotation, and the Dodgers were trying to scrape together a plan, especially game 1. I mean, you've got Max Fried here revved up, ready to go against who? Like, we know Knebel's starting, but who's after that? We don't know. Game 2, this is the Max Scherzer that just closed out game 5 3 days ago, and he's ready to go again. But then you've got Ian Anderson revved up, ready to go. Today, I feel a lot better for the Dodgers case about arrested Walker Buehler against arrested Charlie Morton. But after that, you hit the wall because Urias came in game 2, and then he's slated to start game 4. Like, all of your really talented arms are being used right now, and the Braves are sticking to their plan.
And talk about talented arms and talking about just a confidence builder. Who have they scored these runs off of? Blake Trinan, Kenley Jansen, Max Scherzer, Julio Urias. The dogs. Not, we got to hit off Vesia or Bickford or someone like that where we got a bunch of runs. Gonsolin, another great example. No. These are the dogs that the Braves are going after.
Yeah.
So if I'm the Braves, who's going to beat me? Who you bring in Kenley? We already got a walk-off on him. You bring in Trinan? Doesn't matter. Scherzer, your best pitcher? Nope. Julio Urias? We already got him.
I want to end on this thought. Back-to-back walk-offs. Game 1, game 2, right? Austin Riley, game 1, Eddie Rosario, game 2. We talk about the Red Sox magic. The Braves have some magic too.
Absolutely. They may have more magic. Is it harder to beat the Dodgers or is it to beat the Astros? Actually, I don't even know. Maybe they have the same amount of magic.
Yeah. The Red Sox, you see it by them just absolutely unloading runs at times, and you see these, out-of-body experiences for these guys. It's 9-3 Boston in the bottom of the 6th now. You see it with the offensive onslaught for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
For the Braves, you see it with this 23-year-old putting together another quality start.
Yeah.
And then you've got Tyler Matzik getting you through the 7th. And then Luke Jackson getting you through the 8th. Like, those guys aren't supposed to be doing that.
Will Smith in the 9th. This team's good, man. They just got it. They're good at everything. What are they bad at? Where's their weakness? I can't really find one.
I guess you would still say the bullpen, but you said 1.52 ERA in the postseason.
1.52, the best bullpen ERA in the playoffs. Next best Dodgers at 2.25. Astros and Red Sox both in the 3s.
That's a lot better.
Interestingly enough, that the 4 teams that are still left all had the best bullpen ERAs in the playoffs. Makes sense because, wins are taken later in the games, but still, best bullpen performances, 4 best teams are still in the playoffs.
I was thinking if the Braves were going to survive, they were going to do it in track meets of games.
You would think that
7 wins. They haven't had that. They've had a bunch of low-scoring games against Milwaukee and then now against the Dodgers. They're keeping that Dodger offense in check. How's that happening?
I'm telling you, Morton, Fried, and Ian Anderson is an incredible 3.
It is.
We talked about this. Ian Anderson is a legit 2. I don't care. He is. So Fried, you can argue, is a 1, and Morton in the playoffs, even in the regular season, he was phenomenal.
Is there anything better than a 1?
No, yeah, a 0. Yeah, I don't know. So then I think to myself, why can't they win? Braves in 7.
Shit, I might say Braves in 6 right now.
But then again, I also said at the end of the TikTok, I was like, would we be shocked if the Dodgers won 4 straight?
No, absolutely not.
But not calling that. I'm on the Braves train. Braves. I'm still sticking with Houston in 7, though. I think Houston's going to come back. Oh, it's 11-3.
All right, I'm thinking of Braves Red Sox World Series.
JD Martinez just hit a 106-mile-an-hour home run, went 395 feet, and it is now 11-3. I would have felt bad personally while we're recording in the middle of the game. I need sleep. I like to go to bed as early as possible. So I was like, all right, Red Sox are up. Let's record. And now at least the Astros didn't come back, but the Red Sox are ahead 11-3.
I love sleep. He's at Peter Apple 23 on Twitter. I'm at Jack_McMullen11 on Twitter. We're at Just BB Media on Twitter, at Just Baseball Fans on TikTok and Instagram. Find us on YouTube with video versions of the podcast with, kind of the best of clips out there on YouTube. Find us there at Just Baseball. We also have a Discord at Just Baseball. Find us twitch.tv/Just Baseball Fans. 5-star review. Tell us what you like on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get us. And the Pillbox Batco Just Baseball t-shirt collab.
I think he killed it. Braves, Dodgers today. Astros, Red Sox today. We got a huge day of baseball. Thank you, everybody.